Justice Department investigation into Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell continues to prompt reaction in Washington and beyond.
Yes, to talk more about the investigation is Jasper Goodman, a Politico reporter who covers economic policy and Congress. Jasper, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
Yeah, so obviously the headlines the last couple of days, the Justice Department investigation prompting backlash from Republicans in Congress. What are you hearing now from GOP lawmakers on this?
Yeah, it's been interesting, guys. There's been a lot of backlash from Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill to the news that came in late Sunday that the Justice Department is investigating the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. And, you know, yesterday on Capitol Hill, we saw several prominent Republicans, including Republicans who serve on the committees that oversee the Federal Reserve, rebuking the news, rebuking the Justice Department's move to probe Powell. And this comes, guys, as more and more Republican lawmakers on some issue areas are resisting or pushing back in certain ways on President Trump and the Trump administration. And I think what we've seen throughout the last 2 days is that this issue has really been an inflection point on the issue of Fed independence, sort of exposing Republican lawmakers' ongoing concerns about the Trump administration's handling of the Fed and their approach to Jay Powell, the hard line that they've taken with Powell. And this has really been an inflection point in that dynamic, in surfacing a lot of frustrations among Republican lawmakers. And that was certainly clear here on Capitol Hill yesterday.
Absolutely. So what does all of this mean for the confirmation of Trump's eventual pick to become the next Fed Reserve Chair?
Yeah, that's really what we're all looking at here. So Jerome Powell's term as chair of the Fed expires in May. President Trump is expected to very soon announce the person who he hopes to make the next Fed chair. And I think that this news over the weekend and the response to the news on Capitol Hill here over the last day undoubtedly makes that person's life harder, whoever he chooses to be the next Fed chair as they enter the confirmation process. We are really at a fever pitch right now in terms of concerns about the independence of the Fed and, in turn, the independence of President Trump's eventual pick to chair the Fed. So I think that person, whoever it is, the leading contenders right now are seen as Kevin Hassett, a White House advisor, and Kevin Warsh. But whoever Trump ends up choosing is going to face strict questioning from both Republicans and Democrats alike on how they are going to think about their independence as Fed chair and the independence of the Fed more generally. And separately, at least two Republicans have indicated that they won't vote for any Trump pick while this Justice Department probe is ongoing. Those lawmakers being Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina and Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. So as long as the Justice Department is continuing to go after Powell, that person may have a hard time advancing out of the Senate Banking Committee and getting enough votes to pass on the Senate floor. So the entire episode is really creating a huge headache for whoever Trump does choose to chair the Fed, which could come, any week at this point.
Well, in the here and now, Wall Street didn't seem too pleased with everything going on in terms of the CPI report this morning, and then the idea that the interest rates will not be cut. What do you think will happen here? Do you think Powell will be affected when it comes to interest rates decisions in the next coming months?
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how that plays out. I think in terms of how this dynamic with the Justice Department probe affects that, Powell's entire line throughout really his entire term as chair, especially during the Trump presidency, has been to say that none of the outside news will affect any Fed interest rate decision making. But if you look a little longer term, guys, this could have an interesting impact on the makeup of the Fed board in that, Chair Powell's term as chair of the Fed expires later this year, but his term to be a governor on the Fed board extends beyond that. Now, most Fed chairs leave the body after their time as chair is up, but there's a possibility, guys, that this could lead Jerome Powell to want to stay on the board longer than beyond just his term as chair, which would block Trump from getting another appointee to put on the board. So this could have a potentially big impact on the makeup of the Fed board going forward, depending how it impacts Powell's thinking about whether to stay on or not.
All right. Well, we'll keep watching that for sure. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me.